Hey, this is Matt once again. We're back to another paid request from Edward, who's been very generous. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Edward. Hope you're enjoying this stuff. Thank you. And he sent in requests for Status Shock, Season 1, Episode 12 and 13, which would be the final bits of Season 1 of Status Shock. Now, for those interested in requesting any type of videos, whether it be a movie review or a re-review, a topic, a reaction, a commentary, random thoughts, movie news, commentaries, video game playthroughs, tier lists, rankings, whatever the case, PayPal's usually the best bet. I do have a Patreon and a CashApp for those interested, as people have asked. Those links are down below in the info box. I'll get to them as soon as I can. But Status Shock, Season 1, Episodes 12 and 13. I didn't mind these two episodes. Now, throughout this, I've mentioned how I'm not gung-ho about the series. It's not a series I would say I love. I would say it was okay. But I will say these two episodes, I thought ended it on a stronger note than how it began, honestly. And I thought the episode 12, I didn't mind the story. I liked the voice actor they got for your villain. The story was intriguing enough to make me curious as how it was going to play out. And episode 13 had a nice little bit of an emotional hook that I thought fit and was kind of complimentary to be the last episode of the season. Episode 12, there's this former child star named Johnny who can duplicate himself, and he calls himself Replay. And it's Neil Patrick Harris. So, of course, it's ironic that the character is a former child star, and of course, Neil was a former child star with Doogie Howser. And so I thought that was kind of fitting casting. And I do like Neil Patrick Harris as an actor. I saw bits and pieces of Doogie Howser back in the day, but I liked him in the Harold and Kumar movies. I've seen him in bits and pieces in other stuff as well, and like I said, always liked him as an actor. So I thought it was nice that they got him for this role. Phil LaMarr still does a pretty decent job as the voice of Static Shock, also known as Virgil. Pretty much, Johnny is stealing some stuff with duplicates. Static Shock tries to stop him. The fight leads to this kind of broken down hall of mirrors. There's a bit of an explosion. Static wakes up, thinks he sees himself, kind of gets knocked out, fatigued. Wakes up, and we see that a duplicate of himself has been robbing stuff, tarnished his name, tarnished his image. Even his own buddy, who Static picked up and got a stuck somewhere, doesn't believe him. Well, I mean, granted, part of me is like, well, dude, if you could buy into superheroes, if you could buy into superpowers, if you can buy into metahumans, or baby boomers, whatever the hell they call it, Bane babies. That's what they call it, Bane babies. Is this really that far off the reservation that there could be a double? But I don't know. I'm just saying, it's not it's not like it's impossible in the realm of possibilities. But yeah, pretty much Static is on his own. He gets chased by the cops, escapes through the sewers. I thought it went at a fast enough pace that it didn't really dawdle. It didn't really slow down. Like I said, I did like Neil Patrick Harris being chosen as the voice of this character. There's a couple lines I didn't mind. Like, for example, with Johnny and the duplicates being pissed at him, and Static goes, "Oh, a room full of has-beens. Now I'm really scared." Something about that line I didn't mind. I thought that was kind of a pretty decent line. Pretty much by the end, his buddy, well, actually, his buddy kind of lets him, helps him a bit. Finds out where this kid was fired, because you tell he wants revenge on the people that canceled his show. They find the studio, they have a fight within the studio, the buddy's able to put up a camera that records to let the police see what's really going on. Fights the duplicates off, punches the clone version of himself into Neil Patrick Harris, zaps them, everything's fine and dandy, everybody goes home happy. Like I said, I think just because I like the idea of a villain duplicating himself. I'm not saying it's the first time it's been done, but I like that idea because it leaves a bit more of an obstacle for your hero to overcome. Yeah, Neil Patrick Harris was a big reason why I liked it. It was cool to see him in the episode, and again, it fit the character. I figured eventually they would do a doppelganger, because that happens a lot in these shows. Like, what if you have an evil version of said character? But again, it was quick enough, fast enough, that I didn't really feel bored with the episode. So, I thought it worked for what it needed to accomplish. There wasn't a whole lot that I found egregious in the episode, if that made sense. Yes, I do wish the action scenes had a bit more to them in terms of choreography or in terms of style. Like when I see in Batman the Animated Series or the 2003 Ninja Turtles cartoons, I do think the action, the battles have a little bit more oomph to them in terms of, again, the choreography or the way certain things are lit or certain camera movements. I kind of wish there was a bit more of that in the proceedings, but as is, I do think the action is adequate. I never really found the action in this show so far to be unique or creative or cool. That's so cool. I kind of wish they could build up on that, really get creative on it. Maybe because of his powers, there's only so much you could do. Or he can't kill someone, of course. He can't do this, so because of static and energy, it's only so much you can do, I guess, with that. But overall, I didn't mind the episode. In episode 13, I would say I liked even more, because part of the story, after you have this opening where he saves this group, which is a runaway tram system, stops this train, saves some people, and one thing leads to another, he's reminded of his mother. And we did a bit more of his mother and what happened. Not specifically what happened, but that she passed away. Her memorial service is coming up. The sister wants him to talk, and he wants, and I could understand this, wants to not think about it. Because it's a tough thing to deal with. It's a tough thing to be reminded that your mom is no longer there. I thought it was kind of funny where this, was it the sister or the dad? One of them said, I thought I'd be psyched to do this. I'm like, you thought your son or your brother would be psyched to talk at the mom's memorial service? Hey, let me be reminded of the death of my mom and talk about, this depressing matter. Yeah, I'm psyched for that. It's just, psyched was a weird word to use for that. Psyched. Who in the history has ever been psyched? Well, you know what? If Jim Cornette was at the funeral of Vince Russo, he would be psyched. So, there could be, there's someone out there, but most people would not use the word psyched to give a speech at a memorial service. So, I'm just saying. But I did like what the father says later, where I want to apologize to you. Why, Dad? Because, listen, I would never force you to do something like that. And I didn't realize you're still dealing with her loss to this effect. And you mentioned how it was tough for her to even say her name after a certain amount of time. I thought that was a nice heartfelt moment between father and son. And throughout, because the other part of the story is this figure who's like a purple Hulk, which makes sense because it's nicknamed Tantrum. The episode's called Tantrum. And when this person gets agitated, they change to this creature. Imagine like a purple Hulk but with orange hair. And you find out that the Bruce Banner of this is John Cho. That I guess his parents are, I heard his dad, I should say, his dad is so adamant about his grades, he's worried about getting a 99 on a paper. And the people in the class make fun of him. But then you see how strict his dad is. You go, okay, well, that's why. Now, granted, the episode never approaches that. By the end, they go, oh, yeah, he realized he didn't know what he was doing. Now that his parents know, things gonna be okay. I'm like, no, his dad's still going to be a prick. His dad is still going to be an uptight prick. That there's a difference. You need to do this, and that's going to be the difference between a 99 and a 100. You still going to have the prick dad. Is that really going to change things? I wish they would have addressed that. I wish that they would have said something about that, where Static talks to the dad or overhears what's going on and confronts John Cho's dad or something to that nature. But they don't, so I thought they kind of wussied out on that. But it was cool to have John Cho in there again. It's funny, there was another episode where he had like a bit part. I'm like, oh man, I wonder, did John Cho just come in for like a one line? Well, now I know. He had more of a role in this. So maybe it's one of those things like, okay, come in for this role. But if you could, can we have your line for like this one and this one? So you like, so. Unless he came in, did the one line, they go, hey, we kind of liked you. Come back and we'll give you a bigger role. Again, I don't know how that works. But John Cho was the character Thomas, and like I said, that was kind of cool because I'm a big John Cho fan. I love Searching. Searching is easily one of my favorite films of the past 10 years. I really do mean that. I love Searching. And so, I mean, in a weird way, as superficial as it is, that helped that each episode had a voice actor that I did enjoy. You know, Patrick Harris or John Cho, and that kind of helped drive the proceedings further with me, where I got to enjoy the voice performances that I'd never heard before. I don't know why that's a little thrill for me, it just is. Maybe because life is short, and it's nice to see and hear this stuff before the final ticket, so to speak. Oh, another guy that was familiar was the dad of John Cho was Michael Paul Chan. I knew his voice sounded familiar. He was Data's dad in The Goonies. But he was also in the Tom Selleck film Runaway. When Tom Selleck is beating the hell out of that machine for Kirstie Alley, and the guy's like, hey, you didn't have to do that. What'd you do that for? The way he was just complaining to Tom Selleck, what'd you do that for? You didn't have to do that. I think he was also in... I think he was in the Dolph Lundgren film Army of One, also known as the Joshua Tree. I think he was, where Dolph Lundgren has to confront him after killing all these bad guys. A very cool John Woo type of action sequence, and confronts the guy. I think he's in that one too, Army of One. So that was cool. It's not a big role, but I think he was in Falling Down, actually. He was the guy that ran the convenience store. And Michael Douglas is complaining, like he gets the can of soda, and he's like, how much is this? Are you kidding me? I think he takes the guy's baseball bat. So he's been quite a decent amount of movies. So it's Static and his buddy find out who this creature possibly could be, confronting him about it, as well as this backdrop of remembering his mom. And it culminates at the end where he remembers something his mom did for him, where he had a tantrum, and the sister's like, he's being bad. Just, the sister's a bitch. Fuck the sister's a bitch. Punch her in the face, man. I hate the sister. She says, fucking bitch. She's a bitch. I tell you, just bitch. I do seems a bitch. Tourette's. I see her, I get Tourette's, like, bitch! Fuck you, bitch! But the mom says, no, no, he's just gotta let it all out. See, there he goes. So, Static takes that with when this guy turns to a creature again, leads him away, lets him have his tantrum, he calms down, turns into Thomas again, the cops get him, and again, something remembered from his mom. And then he does give the speech about his mom at the end. He does do the memorial service. And even at the end, like, he's at her gravesite, and we see a picture of her, like a photo, and it does a decent enough job where by the end I feel sadness for a character that I never knew. Like, other than in this episode, the little bit of video footage you see of what they're watching on their TV, their VCR. Even that little bit, and because of the way the character missed them, because of you feel their sadness, I thought it was a nice bit of a heartfelt way to end the season. I'm like, okay, golf clap. I give you your flowers, so to speak. I could appreciate that. So, yes, you could not do that every episode, but it was nice to see, and I thought, okay, that was a bit refreshing, and give a bit of respect to that. So, that was nice to see. So yeah, I do think the season ended on a strong note, or stronger note. Take that for what you will. But yeah, with that said, thanks for watching. Thanks once again, Edward. I really appreciate your kindness. And we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.